They're 40-year-olds. They're not young royals.
Well, and
they're different now. The vibe is different. The whole mood and shift will now go on to George, Charlotte and Louis. And they will become really, frankly, bit part players. Now, they won't like that. And that's probably what this is all about, making sure they've got a presence, a brand to monetize, because pretty soon they're going to be really so far removed from the main game that they're not going to be able to get as much money out of being royals.
I think Valentine Lowe wrote that in his book, didn't he? Or I seem to remember Val writing about saying that Harry did have fears that he might, become irrelevant into his 50s. And, they're making a huge noise at the moment.
Yeah.
But he undoubtedly will. He'll be a bald 50-year-old prince that, a gentleman, someone formerly known as Prince. That's what he will be. I mean, and that will be not the same as they talk about, he's got an appeal with the younger generation. Well, they'll be thinking, who is this guy? They wouldn't even know who he is.
I think it's also trying to kind of make things a bit more positive. I've spoken to some journalists in America who were saying how we love a kind of boy or girl done good. And the fact that for Harry and Meghan, for a very long time, a lot of the stories have been negative and around, we felt badly treated by the royal family. And certainly with Meghan, look, with the twerking video and her really kind of owning her social media, I think you're seeing that kind of, right, I'm going to be more upbeat, I'm going to be positive. And we're sort of waiting for more of that, I think, from Harry.
But then, of course, they're already ahead of the game on this, the Sussexes, because they've done their branding for their 2 children. Mm-hmm. She's writing a diary entry every night to Archie and Lilibet. I wonder what that's for, the diary of Archie and Lilibet. I don't know, it's a nice book. But they know that those 2 will be, and they've got all their branding around that, they will be something that they will be able to monetize. And unfortunately about the Sussexes, I just call them H&M, because I don't believe they should have the title, is all about the money. And of course, the reason we want, there's a lot of this, and let's not be too cynical. Yes, he wants a reconciliation with his father. His father has a finite time on this earth. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of money to be distributed. And I'm sure that's a conversation that needs to be had.
So we asked, ultimately, should the King remove the Sussexes titles from Harry and Meghan? And 91% said absolutely.
I agree with
that.
Yeah.
You agree with that, Rob?
I agree with it, yeah. I think because they've disobeyed the HRH and they've flaunted that. They're now talking about, I'm Meghan Sussex. Well, you're slightly, taking the mickey out of the royal family. You want it out. You want it to be American citizens, where titles don't matter. What is the point of having their children as prince and princess if they're not in any role? They're not Habsburgs from the previous century. It seems ridiculous to me.
There was a time when Prince Harry was the most relatable royal, a war hero, a cheeky rebel, a favorite of the public. Fast forward to now, and the image has crumbled. Media critics are painting a brutally honest picture of the prince's future: bald, bitter, broke, and completely irrelevant by the time he hits 50. It's harsh, but let's not pretend the warning signs aren't there. After stepping down from royal duties in 2020, Harry and Meghan gambled everything on becoming Hollywood power players. They signed blockbuster deals with Netflix, Spotify, and Penguin Random House. But how much of that promise has actually delivered? Spotify publicly cut ties. Netflix hasn't renewed anything substantial. And Harry's memoir Spare, though commercially successful, burned even more bridges and left his image even more polarizing. Critics say the couple is already out of original content. They've told their side, they've aired their grievances, and now, the public's losing interest. Let's talk finances. Despite the illusion of wealth, sources claim the Sussexes are facing mounting financial pressure. Their Montecito mansion comes with millions in upkeep, and their lifestyle isn't cheap. Staff, security, PR firms, luxury travel, it adds up. And with no royal funding and dwindling media deals.
And also, if you want to be, American citizens and be branded, they don't need the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in front of their name. Harry and Meghan, we know who you're talking about. So no, I think if you're not involved and you're not a working royal and you're not really part of it, then remove the titles. I also think there's precedent amongst the Scandinavian royals where that was all changed around and they got rid of princes and princesses, apart from the first section, and that probably wouldn't be a bad way of going forward, really, for the royal family. With George, Charlotte, and Louis, to not keep extending this prince and princess thing, and just have them as either their names or a lord or lady, whatever they want to do, but not continue with the having an extended royal family, prince and princesses all the way down the line. Yeah, I'd remove the title. They pretty much damned themselves about that. They didn't want to be part of the royal family. They trashed the institution, so why do they need the titles?
Rhiannon, are you part of the 91% that Rob clearly is?
No, I think we've had enough. Look, it'd be another story for us to write about, but I think enough has been done. And actually, the things that really mattered to Harry have already been taken away from him. So his military affiliations.
No, it's not him though, is it? It's
gone.
us. It's us. I'm thinking about the 91% saying, well, a bit of an, he's taken all his stuff. Yeah, he's lost a lot, and he has. But that was given to him to serve, not given him for 5 minutes. It was given him for life of service. I
still think if you cut Prince Harry in half, it would still say service and duty. I genuinely do. And you look at what he does through Invictus, and you see that very clearly. I think what they would argue is the way that they show those elements of service and duty are different now. I just think it's enough. I think enough. And actually,
that was given to them for a reason. It wasn't given to them. It was given to them in anticipation of service. People like the Duke of Kent, who are still turning out now, he was given that title, and he was done a lifetime of service. Mm-hmm. They did a lunchtime of service.
Well, very good point. I mean, the late Queen was, she felt very strongly about titles as well. It was something that, she felt was important that people respected their titles, used their titles correctly. And I do wonder, what if she was 30 years younger?
Experts are now asking, how long before the money dries up? If new deals don't come through, Harry may find himself struggling to keep up the elite lifestyle he and Meghan have crafted. The cruel prediction? By 50, Harry could be a has-been ex-royal with no platform and no money to fall back on. Yes, even Harry's appearance is under fire. British tabloids and social media alike have joked about his accelerating hair loss, dubbing him the bald Duke of Montecito. It may sound petty, but in the image-obsessed world Harry and Meghan have chosen to live in, optics matter. Once admired for his rugged charm, Harry now faces constant public mockery about his looks, his choices, his role, or lack of one. Not only is he mocked by British tabloids, but Hollywood doesn't exactly take him seriously either. Let's be clear, Prince Harry has no real role anymore. He's no longer a working royal. He's no longer a military leader. He's not a Hollywood A-lister. So what is he? Critics say he's a sidekick in Meghan's brand, and even that brand is fading fast. With their influence shrinking and the public turning against their victim narrative, Harry risks becoming a footnote in royal history, a man who traded duty for drama and now has nothing to show for it but headlines and a few deals slipping through his fingers.
What kind of view that she might have taken on it, but
legally, have they done anything yet where they have overstepped the mark in terms of the deals that they've signed?
It's not about the legal. 91% of the readers on
we
this
must
show,
listen to the public.
91% are pretty much saying, enough. You're disrespecting us, because that was given to you by the late Queen in anticipation of service, and you didn't finish the service.
Well, I think the Sussexes are trying to listen to the public. I think, as I say, when I alleged that it was a flag-waving exercise to make sure that everybody knows that the reconciliation is on the cards, I think we're talking about this new PR team.
Yeah.
We're talking about, them coming over to London and Harry wanting to come back to the UK. It's important what the public think. It's important what we write, because it does change what they do and what tactics the Sussexes are wanting to do. So
I think the hard thing with Prince Harry is I get the impression that they do want him to do more public-facing engagements. One, I suspect, is the fear of, well, what's the response that he's going to get? Although, actually, outside of the Invictus Games service at St Paul's, he got a great reception from the crowd when he did a kind of impromptu walkabout. But also, the difficulty is they still don't want to seem to let us in. And as we all know, it's the dialogues that go on behind the scenes between communications teams, journalists, that really help to sort of fill the vacuum of information. If we don't know what they're actually doing, then how can we accurately report on it? And some might say, give them a kind of a fair showing, I suppose. Not necessarily say this is great what they're doing, but just be a bit more balanced about what we're doing.
I think the show's moving on though. You know, we're talking about when we were in New Zealand all those years ago.
Yeah.
He was a big noise then. It was the vibe was all positive about him. The vibe isn't positive about him now. He's like, we're dealing with what, you know, they're not apart, but, you know, we're dealing with an Andy and Fergie post-separation.
What does Harry stand for now? Mental health? Privacy? Ironically, he's profited off revealing the very private details of his family, his trauma, and his inner turmoil. Even his mental health messaging has been undercut by the constant monetization of his personal struggles. Observers worry that if he keeps going down this path, by the time he reaches 50, his legacy will be defined not by service or sacrifice, but by bitterness, betrayal, and brand deals gone sour. So, will Harry really end up as the media predicts? A bald, broke 50-year-old has been with nothing left but regret? Some say yes, unless he rebuilds his purpose beyond victimhood, beyond royal revenge, and beyond the Hollywood bubble, he'll fade. But others still hope there's a path to redemption, a return to charity, service, and something deeper than gossip. Either way, the clock is ticking. Because if nothing changes, the title, Prince Harry, may soon mean nothing at all. Let us know in the comments. Is Harry spiraling toward irrelevance, or is this just a rough patch he'll recover from?